where we met, and
damn, weren't you lucky
damn
that
was
day?
I lucky. And we ended up winning the deal because I went to somebody like you who had way more experience than, an investor of 5 or so years.
But
sometimes I let you think you're right.
Thank you.
Just to humor you.
Oh, thank you. You keep humoring me. Build that ego, okay, any way you can. Investor responsibility in working on real estate transactions. Hey guys, this is Scott, and I'm here with my business partner Susan, just to take a minute and talk about, real estate investors, some of the responsibilities we have, truth or consequences, what do you want to call it. We won't go into the old game show thing, all that stuff, but we could. I think so many investors, they want to get deals done, and they go out and look at deals, but they really don't know what they're doing to start off with.
Right.
And I know one of the sayings we often say is know before you go, right?
Yep.
Do your homework, right?
Right.
And, oh my gosh, nobody wants to do homework. They want somebody else to do the homework for them.
Right.
Because they don't have the time. Let me tell you what. We don't have the time when we do the homework.
And we do it because it is so important. It'll save you time in the end.
Oh, huge. And if you don't know information when you go out on a call, how in the world are you going to make decisions?
Right.
On the fly, right there. Because when you go look at a house, you got to make a call pretty fast, right?
Right.
You can't go to the house, go home, wait a week, go back. Talk. There's already 14 more investors there usually. So you got to be able to, strike while the iron's hot, right?
Absolutely.
And you do that with access and information. County clerk websites, MLS, Propelio, whatever it might be, you can gather information from.
Right. Having
a knowledge base of constructions when you go see that house. You may not know prices right up front, but you can denote and remember what you're looking at. Take pictures. You're awesome at taking pictures. You take 4 million pictures of every house.
Yep.
But when you go back and you look, you got it, right?
Absolutely. And you take those pictures too, because then in the end, you're going to go back and protest taxes, and you're going to need those pictures.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We just finished doing we just made about $20,000
protesting all of our
savings.
houses. Yep.
And we talk about you make money both by, you make money, but you also, it's about saving money.
Yeah.
And that's $20,000 just this year. It doesn't count next year and the following year.
Right.
And things add up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it really, good point.
Yeah.
Way to go.
That's the main reason I take those pictures, before and after.
Well, it's good to put together a portfolio too. Showing, from turning crap into gold, which is awesome.
Yeah, great for social media posts, before and after, stuff like that.
Yeah, it goes great. But when we go out and we meet with these sellers though, it's knowing what to ask for. Sometimes you try to ask for it up front before you out the door, but you can't always do that.
Right.
And you don't have enough information most of the time until you get there to take a contract with you and fill it out. Yeah, you can get in the car, make a few phone calls, fill something out, come back pretty quickly. And you can get pretty close in most cases, but you got to be able to verify things. I just find so many investors, they don't ask enough questions. You got to know the basics. You got to know what you can and can't do. And I get in our business so many investors, especially the young ones, there's a learning curve.
Yep.
I know we talk about it a lot about you need to get enough information to go out and do things.
Yeah.
But always be learning. I know we make an effort in what we do to always learn, listen. We go to a lot of events, a lot of things, and you try to pick up that one little nugget here, that one little nugget there. Maybe it adds to marketing, maybe it adds to acquisition, maybe it does that. I know we've been doing this for a doggone long time. But
you've been doing it a long time.
Oh, thank you. You're right there with me.
I'm only 8 years in. You're like what, 40 years in?
Oh, thank you.
35?
You heard that bus go by as it just ran over me? Thank you very much. But, taking the time, there's always something new we can learn. There's a new approach maybe.
Yeah.
There's not that much new stuff, I get it, but sometimes just that little tweak.
You know what I find to be the biggest thing that people miss, especially newbies, is going to the county tax assessors and seeing if the taxes were paid. I've known people that show up at closing and they're what they think they're going to make is a whole lot less because they didn't check the taxes. Basic stuff.
And you can. You know, most, for instance, if there's a subject to type transaction, you know, today most mortgage companies are escrowing taxes and insurance out there. Dodd-Frank kind of changed that a little bit along the way. But there are still deals out there where they aren't paying taxes or insurance. And you don't have that as a guidepost because the mortgage companies are pretty good at staying on top of all that. You have daggum well better check. We just got hit, you don't know this, with a $4,000 tax bill where the seller had passed away. The daughter was, and she had passed away in 2021. The daughter was living in the house, and we bought the house in 2023. So the county rolled the taxes back, and we had to pay the taxes for 2022. Now, it was a home run deal no matter what we got around. You don't ever want to pay the extra money, and it was okay. But things like that really do happen, and you have to anticipate and expect things.
Right.
And you do that by learning how to ask questions, right? I know when we go to a house call, I know we split up sometimes. I'm looking in the house, I'm doing repair takeoff, maybe I'm looking over some information as you're just talking to the seller and trying to gather info. What's up? What's happening? How'd you get here? You know, the sympathy, empathy part, which is awesome. And then, you know, maybe you're taking the time to explain some things to her a little bit about how we can help. And really going through that on more of a human level than a business level. You know, I see so many people out there. In fact, the very first deal you ever did, there were other investors competing on the house, and they were berating the seller for being so far behind, the condition of the home, how bad it is, how this. Do you not think she knew how bad it was? She knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And you came in and took the exact opposite approach and won the day.
Yeah.
And it's learning those little techniques, I think, are so important. And it's not really a technique. It's just doing the right thing.
Yeah, doing the right thing and caring about people. And they're in a really, most of them are in a really difficult spot, and they're very stressed. And you just, you know, you have to have empathy and understand that what they're going through.
Yep.
And really explain things several times, because sometimes they don't always hear it the first time, like the due on sale.
You know, and oftentimes too, especially with the newer crowd, is they, as we say, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know how to ask the questions they need. Maybe it is asking for a reinstatement of some type. And it's like, don't wait till next week. When you're at that house with that seller, call right then, order it. Because it takes 3 days, 7 days, 10 days to get it in.
Yeah.
You need to have that because you may not have any idea what's going on until you get it.
And you also want to make sure when you do order that you give them your email, because if it goes to the seller, it'll go to spam, or they won't know, and then you got to wait. And so you want to give them your email so that everything comes to you.
Yep. And then, you know, even along the way, you get all that done, you get the deal contracted, you've done all the disclosures right. Let's make sure we close it the right way. And one of the things I think that's so important is the investor needs to understand the closing process. They need to understand the documentation process. They need to know what to look for. They think just because you go to a title company, oh, it's all done with a title company. Absolutely not.
Right.
And you go to a lot of law firms, there's a lot of people who want to play in this game, but really don't, they're not students of the game, as we say. And they don't know what to do. They'll put together a simple little package and they leave out 87 things that are so important because this business is so much about disclosure. And as the investor closing a deal, I think one of our obligations is to make certain we know what it is that needs to be there. So, you know, Susan, you know, we've been talking about newbies a little bit here for a moment, and grant you, I mean, mine was so long ago, as you so obviously pointed out, thank you. And I'll tell you now, I screwed up so many times, it wasn't even funny, and it was very costly along the way. I've been very lucky not to just get out of everything completely, but you were new once.
Right.
I know that. And tell us just a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, it's been, January was 8 years when I did my first deal, believe it or not.
Has it been that long?
8 years. Only 7 with you, but 8 years, and when I first started, and I was trying to partner up with people because I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I was a fortune builder student and learned the basics. I came from marketing and advertising. I had no real estate experience, and I just started learning, watching videos, and going to real estate investment clubs, which is, where we met. And
damn, weren't you lucky
damn
that
was
day?
I lucky.
I guess it was that night, actually.
And I think one of the first deals, aside from the one you just mentioned, was the deal of remember that probate house out in Bedford where the lady had died and the dogs ate her in the bedroom? Remember that? And I had gone with another investor who did a repair
Thank you for bringing that back up again.
He did this big repair takeoff, and I presented, and they go, oh, no, that's not going to work. And so we lost the deal, but I knew the people from, long ago, and I had told you about it. You go, oh, no, let's go back in. And we ended up winning the deal because I went to somebody like you who had way more experience than, an investor of 5 or so years. So I think it's really important to get out to these meetings, meet people. I think you said you got it, if you need help.
We looked at that house, though. I'm just bringing that back in mind here. I mean, I know that the house was full.
Yeah.
And they took nothing.
Nothing.
They didn't want anything.
Yeah.
They just hands off.
Yeah.
That was one. But what I remember about that, nice house, nice area, like everything else, lots of stuff to do. And because they wanted nothing to do with anything, we were willing to go in and just clear it out.
Yep.
That helped.
Yep.
But I also know that the experience in the construction industry a little bit, our cost was 50% of what the other investors was.
Yep.
And I don't know if he was using that as a negotiation ploy to get it cheaper or not, but we still got it for the right price and made a home run.
Right.
I mean, that was a
and I didn't
that's a
know
grand
any
slam,
better
baby.
because I'm thinking, okay, it's a $70,000 rehab, and I was new to it. I hadn't done any deals yet, and I was just trusting in somebody that really didn't have enough experience. Or actually, those people are out of the business now. Surprise, but just connecting with people when you're a newbie is really important. And
well, it's also, besides just connecting, I think one of the important tidbits there is bring something to the table. Don't suck somebody dry.
Yeah.
We get sucked dry, and we bitch and moan and complain about it all the time because everybody wants something, no one wants to give anything.
Right.
And I've had several partners up here before who came in and said, I just want to work for free.
Yeah.
Teach me. You're going, really? Okay, free labor. That helps. But you came to the table, and granted, there wasn't any money on the table, there wasn't a salary, those kind of things. We worked together at building, all of a sudden everything went kaboom and exploded, which has been awesome over the time. But you brought a willingness and a drive to the table. You actually did things. You actually got out and made things happen. You actually did this, did that. You were able to save money. You did the things and you didn't know how to do it. You just did it. And so many people are scared. They go, I don't know how to do that. Well, Lord, you didn't either.
Figure it out.
You figured it out and you just did it.
Yeah.
And not everybody can do that. Maybe not everybody's in a position to have a little bit of luxury with that. I get it. But, you can't just go and say, mentor me, I'll pay you $100 or whatever. No.
Right.
Bring something to the table and do it.
Right.
Learn it. Get out there. Be willing to do it.
Yeah.
And I find so many people aren't willing to go that extra mile, which is why I think so many people fail in this business.
Right.
It's that 95-5 rule.
Exactly.
5% really get out, will make it happen. And it's those people, I think, who have that attitude, that approach, we call it work ethic, who are willing to do it. You gotta have a little bit of, you got a little bit of talent. You can't just be a complete buffoon. You gotta be able to go and be able to do a few things. You gotta know, hey, what's a Home Depot? Where do I go? What's a 2x4? Just some basics. But I mean, I know, I look back on all of this, and I know we did some bigger rehabs that, we've done some big rehabs, but not that many. And you learn new things along the way. I get made fun of for going to Lowe's and Home Depot all the time, looking at prices. I look at house and things like that for a design ops idea. They're going, you do what? But I do. I like going to Floor and Decor and looking at their bathroom designs they have there. And it's just ideas.
Right.
But guess what? It takes time.
Yep.
You got to stop, actually go do it. And sometimes I'll just be driving back or go to somewhere, and I've got just that extra 5 or 10 minutes. I'll pull off and I'll go walk through real fast. Okay, could I do something different by time? I probably could. But that's what builds our business. It gives us the ability to communicate better back and forth with ideas and suggestions.
Well, I actually, I follow so many contractors on TikTok.
Really?
I learn a lot of stuff. I'm always sending Ron TikToks going, did you know this? Did you know this? Just ideas, and also podcasts. You know, as investors, we drive around a lot, and Bigger Pockets is great. There's the real estate guys. I've got like 5 or 6 real estate podcasts that I listen to, and you know, you're in the car. It's like a traveling library. You can just listen to it.
Well, today it is, isn't it? You can do
Yeah.
that. And knowledge is power. And even though, and I know I'm bad about this, I say I've done it all. I feel like I've done it all. It doesn't mean you can't pick something else up. Markets change, financing changes, everything changes. And staying on top of it's hard. Getting new suggestions. You never know when that little thing comes in that will make something better along the way.
Right.
That gives you that little boost, right?
Yep.
And I think that's what becomes so beneficial along the way. Got anything
And there's
else?
so many cycles. You know, you've been through how many? 4 cycles? How many real estate
How long's the cycle?
crashes?
We're going to say 20 years a cycle? 7 years a cycle?
You know, everything old is new again. It all comes back around, right?
Pretty
But
much.
there's always some nuance in, you know, all the new
Somebody
things.
does something different somewhere. You know,
Yeah.
and again, it's like, you know, the Airbnb stuff right now. You know, here in Dallas County, I still don't know what the outcome of the Dallas City Council hearing was on Airbnbs.
Right.
Whether they're going to
They're
eliminate them.
prohibiting new ones. But we're grandfathered in because we have old ones. But now we have all kinds of rules we got to follow.
And then you got to decide, is it worth it, not worth
Right.
it, this, that. But you got to keep up the time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if they shut you down, you get fined, and it changes all your strategies, right?
Right.
You know, the last thing I'm going to say is, we talked earlier about this know before you go. It's also know what you're going to do. It's not just know the deal before you get out there, but it's what am I going to do with it?
Right.
Am I going to buy it to live in? Am I going to buy it to flip it and sell it? Am I going to buy it to lease, long-term lease, corporate lease, Airbnb lease? Am I going to do a seller finance deal on it? What's my goal?
Yeah.
But having that idea, don't have 14 different ideas. One. Now, grant you, if one fails, you go to number 2,
Yeah.
and then go to 3. Got it. But you've got to have that out there and think through your deal a little
Right.
bit. And I think whenever you get a chance to do those things, planning ahead,
Right.
being smart, helps eliminate so many problems
Right.
out there.
Yeah.
And again, no one's going to be perfect. You're going to mess up.
Yeah.
It just happens. Guys, remember, as a seller in this industry, we are responsible to the seller. We are responsible to the buyer. We're the seller. We're the lender. If it's a under finance deal, we're the underwriter. We're it all. It falls on our shoulders. It doesn't fall on that closing agent or somebody else. It falls on our shoulders. And so learning these details is so important.
Right.
How to make better deals.
Yep.
How to make more money. How to do
Yep.
deals right. And how to stay in business for the
Long
long
term.
haul.
And one of the points that I wanted to make, and this was with that first deal, the hoarder house, I still keep in touch
Was this
with
your
her.
first deal or first
Well,
next
but
deal?
we've had so many hoarder houses, but you know the one I'm talking about with the double tax liens. I friend them on Facebook and keep in touch with them. That woman has sent me leads, keeps in touch, always wishes me a happy birthday, and just keeping those people that you did good by, they appreciate that. And when it comes around to, oh, I have a friend or something, call this person. I've had people call me that were referred from people we've done deals with. So just, you know, doing the right thing. What I love to do is invite them back to see the finished product. And that specific house, when I took her back through, I practically had to hold her up. She was crying her eyes out. She couldn't believe what the house actually looked like.
Makes you feel good, doesn't it? It really does.
Yeah.
You know, it's rewarding.
And they like to see it, especially in probate cases where it's a horrible house that maybe they grew up in and it's a hoarder house, and they come back and they're like, wow. And then they, you know, in the back of their mind, they're like, these people know what they're doing. And they refer us to more people. So, you know, we're in a fortunate situation, especially you've been in the business so long that people...
You just keep saying that, don't you? Thank you.
That people come back to us. I mean, we get calls all the time, people we, you know,
It is.
do deals with.
Well, it's nice, and even from 20 years ago, they keep coming back and things of that nature. And you know, that's where you want to be eventually,
Right.
and that's what you want to do. And you know, being in business for a year and two, and you're done and gone, that's no fun. When you can be in something long term, create opportunity, and you get those, okay, it makes the day go by a little bit better. And I like that.
Yeah,
All good stuff.
it's fun.
Well, thanks for doing this. It was awesome.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So guys, hopefully you got something out of this. Thanks so much. If you liked it, take a minute and like us. If you have any comments, you can comment below. Look forward to doing more videos for you. Otherwise, if you want to learn more about the real estate investment industry, take a minute and visit us over at theownerfinancenetwork.com. Got lots of free videos for you to look at, lots of things that you can consider purchasing for videos we do. Look forward to seeing you guys next time.